Hello, Internet. Welcome to 2.5 Brains, This is our weekly Survivor discussion. Survivor Season 43, Episode 8, talking all about it, breaking it all down. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prod on Facebook. Email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. Share the post, tell your friends. We're going to be getting the show out here right away after the episode aired. Obviously, the Amazing Race as well, back to back. And then next week and the week after, we're going to be a little bit behind, trying to get caught back up here as soon as we can. So definitely subscribe so you get all of it right away. You don't miss anything. Obviously, Jessica will maybe be with us next week when we do the show. We maybe one of those things where you have to just kind of get it out and then catch up. So we'll see how it goes. But the schedule has been working as of now. But obviously next week we're going to be out of town, so we're not going to record right away. It'll be about a week or so until we get caught up. So be sure to subscribe so you get all of it so you don't miss what we have going on. We're going on a little vacation for our honeymoon, or our anniversary. Yeah.
Don't forget, first anniversary is paper for gifts.
Oh, so I'll give you a couple sheets of paper. Yay.
No.
Are we going to take this on our trip, or are we going to just do it when we get back, or not?
We can do it when we get back.
Okay, so I have time.
I suppose. Yeah. You forgot, didn't you?
No, I forget.
Oh.
I'm spending a lot of paper on Vegas,
I
so.
know, that's what I figured you were going to say.
So, anyways,
hello.
Hello, Jessica. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I invite myself, and I don't need you to invite me.
Yeah, I know. You just start talking. I don't even introduce you.
I do. I know. I'm just here at this point.
You're fine.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and dive into the episode here if you're ready.
Sure.
All right. So a little banter at the beginning, then diving into the actual episode. What were you thinking of the episode, Jessica?
No, I mean, I think what happened, I kind of expected to start happening from certain people, starting to get into the whole Ryan thing with people seeing him and what he's doing, and we'll talk about that after. Mm-hmm. And Sammy's getting big for his britches and figured that was going to start happening too. But yeah, I mean, it was a good episode.
For sure. No doubt about it. So, for me, this episode was a giant misdirect. It pretty much, if you would have gone into the episode saying who you think's going out, and then everything that happened, and then all this misdirect, all this like, oh, it might be here, it might be here, it might be this one, and it ended up being the one that we thought at minute one of who the hell it was going to be. So all this going on, all these swerves, and ultimately ended up being back who we thought it was going to be.
All I can say is every week I've predicted who's winning immunity, so you should just listen to me when I tell you.
I will never listen to you.
I know this.
But
don't know why.
We pretty much got who was going to be voted out because it seemed obvious, but then obviously, it was minute one we knew, and then 42 minutes happened, and then we knew again at the end, so. Anyways, let's go ahead and start with the episode. We do always 3 moments that matter. Basically 3 most important moments of the episode. Talk about who did not survive and what they did wrong. And then talk about the bottom 3 players of the week after all is said and done. Who's in the worst spot of the 3. Or what 3 are in the worst spot. And then we'll do the top 3. So in order 3, 2, 1. Best player for the week this week. Make sense? Mm-hmm. That's what we always do. So Let's go ahead and start with moment that matter number 1. Jessica, the only is going to be a little bit weird because I have some weird namings for them. But I'll explain it. Go ahead and read off the moment matter number 1.
Dwight gets Sierra'd.
Yeah, so Dwight gets Sierra'd. Any idea what that means?
Something about we thought he was going home with an idol in his pocket, but he actually gave it to somebody else. I don't know.
So sort of. So how it actually, we found out, and there's some speculation that we'd see a scene quickly of Dwight giving it back to Janine. Before he gets voted out or something like that, and she still had it. Turned out that wasn't the case. As far as she knew, Dwight went out with it in his pocket. However, he actually gave it to Jesse before the vote. Cody gave his to Jesse, and then Dwight gave his to Jesse. Jesse now has 2 of them, and obviously Cody hasn't asked for it back yet. But he got Janine's from Dwight. And Janine thought Dwight went out with it in his pocket, and he also got Cody's. But the reference is that Sierra, Joe Englam's wife, when she was on her second season, she played with Sarah, and she told Sarah, "Hey, I'm going to give you this advantage if I get voted out." So Sarah said, "Okay, I'm going to vote you out so I can get the advantage." So in this case, Dwight had the Idol had the advantage. Idol. He gave it back. He gave it to Jesse, expecting Jesse to give it back to him when he got after the tribal council. But instead, Jesse's like, all right, now I have this. Goodbye, and voted Jesse out. I voted Dwight out.
Got it.
So, interesting to see that, Jesse was like, yeah, oh, by the way, I got both idols now. And nobody knows. Now, I mean, the only one knows is Cody that he has his, but that's it.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody thinks they were talking about we gotta go find the idol that Dwight went on the game with, not knowing that Dwight didn't go on the game, that Jesse has it.
Right. So they're not gonna be another one to find, but people are gonna look for it anyways.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Anything else?
I don't think so on that. No.
All right. The next one, Jessica's gonna be very confused, but go ahead and read it.
Sammy is looking to bite the apple.
Yes.
Get that apple.
You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
You know
This is
the
the Adam
there?
and Eve reference.
Yes, it is.
Looking to bite the apple from the tree.
So
And he's gonna crucify himself.
This is a reference back to Survivor China, when it was the final 6, and James Clement had 2 idols, and we've heard the story. They've played it on previous seasons, and one of his idols went to Ghost Island. He had 2 idols, the final 6, and he's telling Amanda and Todd and Courtney, all them, he's like, hey, we're in the final 6. Let's run this down to the final 6 to give everybody else, and we get down to the final 4 with just the 4 of us. Blah blah blah. Don't bite the apple. Don't just stick to the plan. Don't do anything crazy. Don't switch things up. Don't whatever. Don't bite the apple. He kept saying, "Don't bite the apple. Don't bite the apple," because obviously he knew if he got to the end he was winning, and he knew if he got down to the final 5 or 4, he just used his idols all the way to the end, and he'd get to the end and win. So he knew he was going to win if he got to the end. So people around him were like, well, it's great for you, but as Amanda said, I'm not looking to bite the apple. I'm looking to bake the pie. Bake the whole pie. And so Sammy is playing was playing the Amanda role to James's, Jesse and the rest of his alliance. Everybody up, the rest of the alliance is like, James, hey, don't bite the apple. Us final 7 go in the end. Don't get tempted away from that. Us 7 are going in the end. Sammy's like, I'm ready to bite the apple. I'm ready to bake the pie. I'm gonna throw this. I'm throwing this alliance out, and we're going doing something else. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be what his plan was, at least.
Yes, it is. He's power hungry now.
Yep, and he's 19 and he's a little bit immature, but he's been playing a really good game, especially for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, until this point now where he's all making it about how he wants to be the youngest winner, and he's not thinking clearly. I feel like.
Well,
he's just trying to make really big moves before thinking about what could affect him.
See, and the biggest problem I think with this season and with overall with Survivor is players who go out trying to do something more than win the game. If you guys listen to any of the other podcasts, David Bloomberg and Jessica Lewis have a thing. It's the rules to winning Survivor, and his rule is it's just before you go into the rules, you have to understand these rules are to win the game, right? You play to win the game. If you go out, a lot of players will say, "Oh, I won the game because I got to experience this moment and I got to do these things I never thought I would do. I got to find some personal growth." And he's like, well, "That's great, but that's not winning the game, right?" So if you go out with another plan other than winning the game, it's gonna be way harder to win the game if you don't have your number one mission is win the game,
right?
And so Sammy's been kind of doing that a little bit, like going like, hey, I want to be the youngest winner. Okay, well, that's great. Doesn't matter how old or how young you are, just win the game.
Right.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more coming up. But he's at the point where that alliance lasted like 5 seconds.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So he wants to bite the apple and make the pie. So.
Right. Yeah.
What's next?
Number 3.
Yeah.
Don't fish.
What the hell?
Dear, how you spell fish with no I? Exactly.
What do you call fish with no I?
Yeah. Exactly. Just had thought about your joke.
Yeah,
so corny.
Good joke.
So what is this about, you ask?
Yeah, we'll ask in a second. What did the fish say hit the cement wall?
Damn.
What did the one behind him say?
You dumbass.
Exactly.
We got fish jokes.
Exactly. Who wants crabs?
Oh gosh, that's not a fish joke. But anyways, what is don't fish, you ask? All Ryan does is go fish and provide food, which, I mean, really, if I was there and hungry, I'd appreciate that and want to have him there because I want food. but he doesn't strategize enough for his own game. So it's only a matter of time, I feel. I still like him. I would still like to see him succeed, but you can't just fish all the time.
For sure. And he's at the merge, he's at the jury. So I mean, he's gone decently well. He's done decently well in the game. So I don't know if he said he wanted to play like Ozzy. He may very well have said that. He is playing the Ozzy game.
Providing and stuff.
Yes.
I think he said that.
Yeah. So Ozzy to me, and Ozzy almost won the game twice. He won the game a total of 0 times, but he was very close to winning twice. And if he would have won, it would have been very disappointing. He's one of my least favorite players of all time. And he's a nice guy like that. He's not a player I resonate with at all. He got voted out for what I believe was the 5th time in his career. The 4th time he played, right? He played the 4th and final time he's played to this point. He got voted out like 11th, and when he got voted out, he said, "Good luck eating now without me." And the fact of the matter is that he played 4 times, and he still thinks that fishing gives you an advantage in the game.
Right.
Tells you he didn't learn anything the first 3 times he played.
Right.
Fishing does 0 things for you. It gets people fed, who then beat you in the challenges.
Right.
It makes them like you for 5 minutes until the food's gone. And that's it. Like, people maybe keep you around for a minute, 1 round longer because you're cooking. Like, get rid of either Ryan or Owen, and Ryan gets this fish. So we'll keep Ryan for 1 more vote. But that's it. You're not winning the game that way. You're not getting the end that way. Mm-hmm. What you are doing is not strategizing and not making social bonds. Like, he's got bonds with some people because he makes some food and he's nice. But, like, does he have the bonds that Jesse or Carla have? No chance.
No.
He doesn't have the bonds that anybody has. He hasn't made any strategic decisions because he's too busy fishing.
Right.
And, like, it's a great year provider. He caught 20 fish that episode. Fantastic. 21 fish. Fantastic. Guess how much that's going to do for him in the game?
Absolutely nothing.
Pretty much nothing.
Yep.
So stop fishing. Like I said, I love Ozzy. Ozzy's great. Yeah, Ozzy was great. He was a great survival guy, great fishing guy. Can't win the game. The 4th time he played, he's like, "Oh, good luck eating out without me." Well, that's fine because the winner of your season, Sarah, will be eating just fine with $1 million.
Right.
So, and you'll be going back to being a waiter. So, I mean, whatever.
I mean, he was doing what his job was, I guess.
Providing
food.
So, it's my little soapbox. Don't do that. If nobody fishes and you don't eat fish, too damn bad. Maybe go out in the ocean together as a group and catch clam or something. But it doesn't do you any good to go fishing. It doesn't. You might make bond with one other person who's out there with you, but it's not helping you, so don't do it.
Right.
Stop doing it.
Stop it. Just stop it, Ryan.
Exactly.
Stop it.
Exactly. But it's a great story. He said he was told he's never going to walk. Now he's fishing in the ocean. So, I mean, good for him. I like him as a person.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely like him at the game. Yeah.
Speaking of not playing a great game, who did not thrive?
Janine.
Yeah, why Janine?
She had not enough allies to keep her there. They were starting to say that she was very smart and I don't know about strategic, but she's good at puzzles and things like that. But I just feel like she didn't have enough allies to keep her in the game at this point.
For sure. All those things, they said she's good at puzzles, which is, I guess, fine. She's not good at challenges. They said, oh, she's kind of a challenge threat. No, she's not at all.
No.
She's okay at puzzles, but there's a lot more to it. Like, she might do good at the puzzle, but she's going to be so far behind in the physical part of it that the puzzle is not going to matter.
Right.
Right? And, they said that, I think that she was definitely a victim of numbers, for sure, right? Because she wasn't in the alliance. And the whole, don't bite the apple thing, if somebody was able to flip the game, that would have helped her a lot because she could have, got in with somebody.
Yeah.
But the fact is, she wasn't really with anybody. And if you're like, well, let's get her somebody who, could sneak under the radar. Well, let's get her before she gets under the radar.
Right.
Let's take her out before she gets on the radar. Because she's on the radar at the moment. If we let her get another vote or two, she's going to get on the radar.
Right.
So let's that's her plan, is to get on the radar. So let's take her out. Let's take her out while we can before she gets on the radar.
Yeah, I mean, she talked about not being on the right side of the vote again last week, so you could already see she was on the outs for the most part.
For sure. The only thing I'll say in addition to that, you said she had no allies, and the reason she had no allies is from a couple weeks ago. If she would have she got blindsided when Ellie went out. Obviously, if she would have known that and played her idol, she would have been way better off. Because guess what? She didn't have this week anyways.
Her idol.
And she also didn't have her ally. So worst case scenario.
Right.
So if she would have sniffed out that there might be voting for Ellie and didn't get completely blindsided, no point in saving your idol. Play it, save your ally, because an ally is worth your ally is worth more than an idol, and your vote's worth more than your ally. Right. So don't lose your vote to save an ally. Don't lose an ally to save an idol.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she did all those things wrong. So that's a big mistake.
That is why she is no longer here.
Correct, for sure.
Yes.
Let's go ahead then and talk about the top 3, bottom 3, shall we?
Sure.
Who is in the bottom 3 right now?
Owen.
Owen, why?
Trying to think, really. I mean, he was on the right side of the numbers with the vote this week, but he's not a part of the major alliance, so they're gonna leave him out in the dust, basically. With possibly with the next one, he won immunity this week, so he was safe, but he's not in with the major alliance to keep him in the game. Major alliance. Exactly.
He was gonna probably be voted off if he didn't win immunity, so won immunity that saved himself, but his name's still out there. He got a nice little moment about how he's trying to get himself into the final 3. It's like getting he's good with analogies. He got a little bit of his backstory, how he's adopted from Korea and all that stuff. So a lot of good stuff for him. He's getting some good airtime. I just don't see he's gonna really have to make some moves here to get back into the swing of things here, because he's really not in a good spot at all. Anything can happen. Obviously, they switch things up. If that 7 doesn't run the whole game down to the final 7, which would be kind of boring. If that doesn't happen, then he's got a shot, but he's not in the 7. So that's kind of the problem for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Bottom 3, number 2.
Ryan.
Why Ryan?
Because he keeps fishing and not talking to people. I mean, he's not making any bonds. Like you said, he's not getting to know anybody. He's going out to fish and provide, but he's not actually talking to anybody, which is what he needs to do.
So I said this before. The game is outwit, outplay, outlast, and it can translate or correlate into physical game, strategic game, and social game. Which is most important?
Social game.
Social. Because everything else springs off of that, right? And if people say strategic game, yes, but you can't make strategic moves without social capital. So you have to build the social capital, and then you can make strategic moves. And if you're good at challenges, that's a bonus too. But the physical one's the least important. Right. He's doing all the physical stuff. He's doing the survival stuff. He's good in challenges.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a social game, so he can't get strategic moves. And it's happened. It's happened recently. Season 33. The guy who won all the challenges went to the end with... It happened 34 too. Guy who won 4 challenges, 5 immunities, whatever it was, goes to the end with somebody who's won 1 or 0. Guess what happened?
They lost.
The person who had 1 or 0 won the game because they played strategically and they made moves. The jury doesn't care about your challenge wins. They care about if you have an idol, you play an idol, that's exciting for them, but it's a strategic game. Your strategic game, and the only way you have a good strategic game is you have a social game. Ryan has neither.
Right. He thinks he's doing well with that part because he, took 15 minutes to talk to everybody.
Yep. And he's likable, which is great.
He is, yeah, I know, but he's not taking enough time to actually talk to anybody about anything.
If Ryan somehow gets to the end of the game, he's going to get 0 votes as of right now. Maybe he can make a change, but I don't think he sees. It's like Mike last season, right? Mike knew he said all the wrong things at the final travel, right? He was not self-aware enough to know what to say to the jury.
Yeah. Right?
And Ryan is not self-aware enough to know that if I get to the end, everybody's the hero of their own narrative, everybody thinks they're doing a great job. That, from Ghost Island, that Chelsea, she didn't speak the entire season because she was saying what was going on in her mind, how she saw the game, and that was not the way the game was going. So she didn't get any airtime, right? It's the same thing for Ryan. I think he thinks he's doing a good job. He thinks he's making good decisions. But everybody else is like, when he comes out the water, we talk about him.
Yeah.
So he's not actually in on the conversations. And that's not a good thing.
Right.
Stop fishing, dude. Put the spirit on.
Stop fishing. Go talk to somebody.
Have a conversation.
Yes.
Don't be weird.
Right.
One of the best advices I give somebody who's gone on Survivor: don't be weird.
It's hard.
It can be very hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but don't be weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that.
It's fine, me either. But that's why I talk about it on my couch instead of being out there.
Exactly. I can be weird at home with you
For sure.
and the animals,
For sure.
who will still judge me.
That's fine. Speaking of judgment, who's number 1 in the bottom 3? Who's number 3 in the bottom 3?
Sammy.
Sammy, yeah, why?
I don't know. Apparently he's judging people.
No, I just did a really clunky transition.
Because he's trying to control things very fast and put his foot down out and just... He was trying to flip the alliance, which he eventually stopped pushing that narrative to do that. But he's trying to do too much too fast and take control too fast, and people are going to see right through it.
Yeah, they are. And it haven't yet, but he said he was even trying to push the, flipping out of Ryan, and everyone's like telling him what he wanted to hear. Like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh yeah. And then they were like, and then kind of Cody pushed back a little bit. He's like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Blah blah. And he looked deadpan at the camera like, which is funny. But he's not a bad spot yet. I don't think he's the next to go or anything like that. He hasn't come out yet and pushed that hard where he's going to get himself voted out. But he could if he keeps going the way he's going. He was in a really good spot. I said he was in the top 3. I'd say it was him, Jesse, and Carly were the 3 best shot to win. And Sammy's kind of pulled himself out of that a little bit because he's trying to differentiate his game. He's trying to take control of the game. And the final 10 is really hard to do. If you want to do that, do the final 7. And his fear is, I'm in an alliance of 7, I get down the final 7, I'm not going to make a move because I'll be 7th. Which is probably true. So he's got to make a move before that, but it's hard because there's so many people left in the game. So he's in a bit of a tough spot. He's kind of made a bit of a bed, now he's got to lay in, unfortunately for him. But he can still do well in the game. He just got to pick the right spot and make the right move at the right time. Not just blow up the game for the sake of blowing up the game. Don't make an alliance with 7 people and then turn on them immediately. Because it's going to be hard to move forward after you do that. Really, you have one flip in you. Once you flip a second or third time, you're probably done.
Right.
The only person who's been able to flip 7 times and survive and win the game was Tony Vlachos. Because he's a god. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, people catch on pretty quickly.
They do. So you have one flip in you and that's it. So if you're going to use that at the final 10 on 7 people, good luck.
Right.
So the best thing that could happen was him letting it go. Now he's got to try to maneuver and get another vote going a different way.
Let it go. Let it go.
Exactly.
Speaking
of letting it go.
Gosh. Such a bad segue.
I like clunky transition. That's my thing.
Guess so.
So top 3. Who's number 3 in the top 3 this week?
James.
Yeah, James. James, I think, has been kind of all around it for me. Like he hasn't been great. He hasn't been terrible. He has the ability to win the game. I wouldn't necessarily bet on him. When I go to Vegas this week, I'm not going to bet on him. But, stranger things have happened, and he could.
Stranger things have happened, and season 5's coming out right now.
I watched the first 2, and the second one was not as good, so I didn't watch the third one.
Taking that and running with it when you're saying some phrase, yes.
So why James? Anything else about James?
I mean, James is in a fine spot. I know I said to you, I feel like he's in this spot, though, because of Carla, and if she wasn't there, I'm not sure he would even be in the game anymore. But he's picked the right alliances to be with and made the right decisions with them, so I think that's why he's really in this part. Yeah,
Tony's won the game twice. Obviously, he's one of the greatest players of all time. The first time he won the game is because he had Trish. Because when he would be crazy and go off the handle and flip on his lines every time, Trish had the social bonds to pull everybody else back in. Hey, I know Tony's bad, but we're better having him on our team than getting rid of him. And then he flipped on something else. They say, Tony, stop it! And then they say, okay, I'm sorry. He comes back in line. And he flip again. Like, Tony! And every time Trish would have to rebuild that bridge for him. The second time he won, that Trish became Sarah. And Sarah would have to kind of use her social game to keep him, from... But he always had that good bond with that good number 1 who's probably the best social player in the game. Tony was a good social player. He's a very good social player. But he also always had aligned himself with a really good social player. And then he made all the big moves. and they kind of used the social alliance to keep it together. I think James is kind of the Tony, where Carla is the Trish or the Sarah, whereas she's gonna keep the alliance together, and James can kind of go make his moves, call his shots, and Carla's there to keep it together. Now I don't think James is nearly as good a player as Tony was, but I think it's the same idea, at least in some regards, right, Selena? Right, Selena?
It's like, I don't want to talk. I just want to rub my face on the phone.
And I want to eat because I'm always hungry.
Yep.
And my bowl has a little bit of the left at the bottom, and I can see the bottom of it. So it's not completely full, so feed me.
Yeah, she's also broken. She's putting her head on the pillow instead of laying in a pillow, but that's fine.
Weird.
Yeah, it's funny.
Anyways. So James, again, he's got him and Carla are definitely a good pair, but I think too, if he got cut off, I think I don't think he's as aligned with everybody as Carla is with him. Mm-hmm. I think it's like he's Carla's his best friend, but he's not Carla's best friend. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely become that way since the merge.
Yeah, for sure, because she's spread out her. She got alliances everywhere, and he's kind of just got like one.
Right. So. Well, he's got his group now, but yeah.
But yeah, and I think he'd get clipped for at the end in that group.
Yeah, I don't think he's someone's number one.
No, not at all. And I think that's a problem for him. But he's still in a good spot, and he said I don't see him going home tomorrow.
Right.
But
right.
Especially because the show's not next week, so he's definitely going home tomorrow. All right. Anyways, number 2 in the top 3 is
Carla.
Yeah, Carla. Again, she's been just my favorite player this season. Obviously, she's been doing a great job making good moves. She's got the social bonds. And we did look it up. She wanted to play like 3, and she is doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare. Parvati 2.0. There's been 75 Parvati 2.0s. None of them have been as good as Parvati. I'm not saying Carla's as good as 3 because that's just like a legend. She's one of the greatest players of all time. But Carla's playing the game, and she's doing a great job. Mm-hmm. A fantastic job. And if she can hold it together, she could do what 3 was never able to do, which is pull off the perfect game.
The dubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
The big dubs.
3 is the greatest player to never win. And Carla's playing that game. And if she wins it, then that would be, I love seeing that player win because that's a player who doesn't normally win. Player who's not athletic, not, necessarily, doesn't come off as like super charismatic, but she is. She's super charismatic, super smart. Sri said, you may not always be able to beat him with these, pointing to her arms. You can always beat him with this, pointing to her head. And that's what Sri did for her. Every season she did. She was, great. And I think that's what Carla is playing that game. And I see the similarities. I really do. Yeah. So I hope I'm rooting for her. I just glossed through the game by saying that. Because that's always how it goes. Every time I root for Omer, root for Lindsay, and that's how it works. Last season. But
not let us say nothing.
Not let us say anything. But Carla, I think, is playing a very fantastic game. And she could definitely win it. But number 1 this week is
Jessie.
Yeah, my winner pick. Yeah. So why Jessie?
Because he now has 2 idols in his pocket. He has Janine/Dwight's. He got Janine's, and then he has Cody's still. Yeah,
and Cody's he'll use with Cody. Mm-hmm. There's no point of screwing Cody over with the idol. I mean, unless it's like final 6 and you get Cody out of the game, and then that's one thing. But I mean, Cody doesn't need to ask for it back because he knows that they're on the same page.
Right.
But everybody thinks Dwight's one out of the game. Mm-hmm. Janine's Dwight's one out of the game. He has it, and nobody knows it. So it's there's 2 idols in the game that nobody knows about. Carla, 2 idols that nobody knows about.
Oh, yeah,
Carla's and Jesse's. And some people may know about Carla's. A few people probably do know about Carla's just because.
I don't think Carla told anybody about it.
I know, but did she have to make the bracelet though thing?
She did. So unless they started talking about that, she did that. Yeah.
So that the knowledge is out there at least.
Yeah.
Whereas Jesse, the only person who knew about it, is out the game.
Right.
Jesse shot the witness last week.
Yeah.
The only witness of the crime he took out.
Right.
And so now he's got an idol nobody knows about. He's got the best, closest bonds to everybody in the game, aside from maybe Carla.
Right.
Because he's got alliances with everybody. And he's got the only idol that literally nobody knows about.
Right.
Because everybody thinks it's gone out of the game.
Yeah, very true.
So, definitely the play of the week this week. Didn't do a ton, didn't get a ton of airtime, but again, in a really good spot. Same with Carla. Sammy he's trying to maybe get a Lancey now. But those are my 3 for sure. And James is kind of riding along with Carla, so he's in the top 3 this week as well this week.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
I mean, no, not really. I agree with what you said with Jesse. I think he's had a good, couple weeks, and I see his bond with Carla getting stronger. That he would probably be, they be each other's number ones. I feel like more so than anything.
Which is super crazy, but yeah, I can see it. And they're the number ones they're one of the best positions to be in the game is the diplomat. And I would even say the best place to be, I'd even modify that a little bit. Say the best place to be in the game is the nucleus, right? The powerhouse, the nucleus of the cell, the brain of the cell, right? And
the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Well, so Jesse is the nucleus, and Cody's the mitochondria.
Cody,
because he's the physical one, right? Or in the other case, right? Maybe Ryan because he's the physical one for that. But every cell needs a physical person.
Yeah.
Who's energy, and then they need the brain.
Right.
Jesse's the brain, and Carla's the brain, and now they're kind of linking up together, which is good. But I said they're leading their tribes. If you go to tribal council, like, we have to get rid of a red person. Well, okay, get rid of Noel, get rid of Cody. Not ideal for Jesse, but not the worst thing in the world either because he's got other options.
Right.
Whereas if they took out Jesse, Cody's pretty much lost. Noel's so everything that revolves around those people, if they cut off a limb, the brain's still intact, and that's kind of where those 2 players are right now. They're everybody is revolving around them. They're the sun in the universe, and everybody's revolving around them. So
right, yeah.
So I think you're definitely on point there with that for sure. Cool. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Perfect. Well, I think this was another interesting episode. We'll see how it turns out. Both shows this week had the players who are doing the best doing the best for the most part. And it's it's Amazing Race. Top 4 teams are still top 4 teams, and the 2 best players in the whole season I think are still 2 best players this whole season as well. If one of those 2 win, I'm not gonna be sad at all.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. So it was one of those seasons where I did start off with not a lot of people I liked, and I'm still still whatever, but. If one of those 2 people win, I'm not gonna be sad.
Yeah, no, it took time. People grew on me, but yeah, I'd be fine with that.
For sure. I guess one thing you learn too is when you're reading about them on a tablet or on a computer,
versus actually seeing them.
Yeah, when they're 2-dimensional, you're like, okay, they're annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But when they become a little more 3-dimensional and they become full characters, they're a little better.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for sure. Be sure to subscribe if you want to say anything. You can like our Facebook page, Pavement Road Prada on Facebook. You can email the show directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. You can subscribe, share the post, tell your friends. We're going to get the next couple weeks of shows out as soon as we can. Obviously, we're taking a week off from recording. We'll still try to get a show out for each episode. It just may not be as quickly as they have been recently. But like I said, subscribe so you do get them so you don't miss anything. And we'll be back here very soon in about a week's time or so, a little more than that. So definitely thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for emailing and subscribing, telling your friends. And until next time, anything else, Jessica?
You.
Cool. Well, I got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoken.